Welcome to the Good Work Club. I'm your host, Callie, and this is a space where we talk to women who genuinely love what they do. Not just the highlight reel, but the real story behind it. So if you're building something, dreaming about building something, or just trying to figure it out as you go, you're in the right place. So let's get into today's episode. Today I'm joined by Mindy Hamilton, owner of Hamilton Hat Lounge. She's known for extremely fabulous hats that are influenced by her roots, growing up riding barrel horses and being inspired by her stylish grandma. In this episode, we're talking about her journey, how she grew her business, and what it really looks like to go after your passions. I'm so excited for you to hear this one. Let's get into it. Well, hello, Mindy. Nice to meet
you. Hi. Nice to meet you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you for being here.
Of course.
So I always start off with a little icebreaker.
Okay.
When you were a little girl, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Okay. Fun question. I actually wanted to be a fighter pilot.
Oh, my gosh. Where did that come from?
I don't know. Because I grew up on a farm. So, nobody I knew was a fighter pilot. I barely even knew anybody that was in the military.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't come from a military background. And I still find it very fascinating.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
You couldn't.
Like a fighter pilot.
That's amazing.
Right?
Did you ever go into anything related?
None of it.
None of it? That's so funny. Did you watch a TV show that you saw on airplane?
Isn't that crazy?
So fascinating.
I know. And I actually once met a Thunderbird, a female Thunderbird.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, here in Vegas. And I always thought she was just the coolest thing ever.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, team girl power, so
I know.
I get that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know why.
So I'm getting to know you today, which is really fun. Sometimes I like to do some deep research, but other times I like to get to know people as if we're getting to know you in your life.
Right.
So tell me about your childhood and how that's impacted where you're at today.
Okay. Yeah. So like I said, I grew up on a farm. Mm-hmm. And I grew up riding barrels. So I was a barrel racer and other types of style of, horseback riding too. But I grew up on a farm in Ohio. Oh. I'm the oldest of three. And a lot of grit. Yeah. A lot of grit and it wasn't very glamorous, my life. And so sometimes I feel like that's why I'm in jewelry. Mm-hmm. And why jewelry was kind of my first big girl job way back when, right? When I was still in Ohio. So I moved here in 2007, so way back. And I think I was so fascinated with jewelry then and now because we never had it growing up. Picture everything being like mud and muck and shitty horse dolls and stuff like that, right? And so there was no bling. My mom had a wedding ring, right? That was it.
That was it.
Yeah, my grandma's didn't have any jewelry. So I think maybe that might have been part of why I am so obsessed with jewelry. Mm-hmm. And then that's kind of a natural fit as to why I have a hat brand too. Yes. You know what I mean? But the way that I grew up was very, I don't know, we worked a lot, right? Mm-hmm. So I didn't play sports. I mean, I kind of wanted to when I was, middle school, high school, but we lived so far away from the school that it was really kind of hard, right? Because imagine it was 45 minutes one way.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so what parent is going to be let me spend, I mean, I can't say that because I feel like we're all soccer parents now. We spend too many hours sitting in the car at a soccer field. But yeah, so I never grew up with, team sports of any type, right? Yeah. So a lot of what we did was riding the horses, getting up early. I was in 4-H. So we had market animals that needed to be walked, a mile or 2 or 3 a day, twice a day.
Wow.
Yeah. Baling hay,
oh my gosh.
Throwing hay bales in the summer in jeans and a long sleeve shirt,
That's amazing. I'm surprised at how fabulous you are coming from that. It seems so simple life.
Yeah, it was very simple. Amish were our neighbors.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's intense.
It's so intense,
oh my
right?
Goodness.
I know. So right? She's in heels.
I know, I love it. And
my mom never even owned heels.
That's awesome. So where did your influence come from? I read a little bit about a grandma that was stylish.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the part of my grandma, right? Mm-hmm. So my grandma would take us to JCPenney's. Mm-hmm. That was the fancy place to shop. Also, it means I'm aging myself because there's no JCPenney's. Dump one out to JCPenney's.
JCPenney's.
Yeah,
yeah,
right?
my grandma loved it too.
See? So she would take us school shopping, and there would always be like this rack of hats. And like these are like hats that are like cool hats, not like baseball caps or cowboy hats. They were just like, I don't know, random like old lady hats, I guess we'd call them now, right?
Yeah.
But I would try them on, I would put them on, and yeah. So, and then that grandma also gave me, and I still have them, her mom's like wedding hat or like some type of like church hat type of thing. So I feel like other than just writing, I feel like hats were kind of the thing because of that.
Okay.
You know,
It's a fun accessory.
yeah. But that same grandma was, you know, is a dairy farmer still to this day. So like she gets up at 3-4 o'clock in the morning and goes out and scrubs the bulk tank and gets it ready for the cattle. Yeah, so she wasn't stylish, but I think that's where
she had an influence. Okay,
she had an influence.
Got it. I really love that. That's amazing.
Funny.
I feel like so many people get impacted by their family members.
Yeah, in like a weird way you wouldn't even think of.
Right, and then you look back, and because there's times now where I'm like, oh, I'm just like that.
Yeah,
and
then you look back and you're like, yeah, it actually came from somewhere. Or like my aunt still on that side, so my grandma's youngest, was a little bit closer to my age, right? So she's probably 10 or 12 years older than me now, you know, has always been. But like she was like stylish, right? Like I remember her always having like cool outfits. And like even though they were probably very simple, even though now they would look simple, but then it was stylish, right?
Yeah.
So she was stylish, and she always had great big hair, you know, and she always had great hair. So probably that too.
Love it.
From when it comes to a style aspect of things, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because nobody else was really stylish.
You're like, it had to
Nor
come
are
from
they
somewhere.
now.
You're like, you know,
They won't listen.
bless their heart.
They might, yeah.
Bless their heart. So how did you?
You know
end up
exactly what
I
that
know,
means,
I'm from
right?
Texas, so
Yeah, bless
I
their
get
heart.
you, girl. I love it. So how did you end up in Las Vegas?
So in '07, first off, I was tired of being cold in Ohio and like driving in that snow, like treacherous.
Scary.
Yeah, I was just like tired of it. Yeah. And, you know, then it would like, okay, when I moved in '07, I was working for Citibank and I was driving an hour and 20 minutes one way for a salary of like $25,000 a year. Right?
Yeah, even back then,
even back then that was rough.
Yeah.
You know, and so I was like, it didn't ever really seem like there was going to be much opportunity unless I wanted to stay on the farm or like just get married.
Right.
And that was like, you know, I'm not doing that. Yeah. So I had a house. I actually bought a house when I was 18. It was an old Victorian house. Yeah. I remodeled it. So when I moved here at 27, I had sold that. I had been renting it for like 6 months, renting it out. I ended up selling it to them and moved out here in finance. Oh, wow. So the job at Citibank, there was an opportunity that came open with another company through, you know, people that I knew in finance. So I just moved and immediately got like almost double the income.
Oh, that's amazing.
And some people are like, oh, it was more expensive. It wasn't more expensive out here. It wasn't because, like, number one, we don't have state income tax. We still don't, but we didn't have state income taxes. So I was keeping more of my paycheck. And, like, honestly, it wasn't more expensive in '07. Like, not dollar per dollar, not like square foot rental. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not if you compared apples to apples.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I got to live in a little nicer of a place. I moved right to Summerlin, and I worked, you know, close to the Strip and worked in finance. And
did you move by yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. How was your family with that? Because
they hated it.
Yeah.
They're like, what the hell are you doing moving to Vegas? Are you going to be a stripper?
Oh, my God. Yeah. What made you decide on Vegas?
And I'm like, not everybody in Vegas is a stripper.
Yeah.
And sometimes thinking back, I'm like, maybe I would have made a bunch of money.
I mean, probably.
God, like
hilarious.
Judgmental. So, you know, that's the small mind of being from Ohio as well.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's not even like what? And I didn't live anywhere near strippers, and I don't care if people are strippers. Yeah, like good for you, I guess. I don't know. I don't care what people do.
It's not bothering me.
Yeah, exactly. I don't care what people do. What was the question?
Oh, what made you land on Vegas? Like of all places.
That's what was open for that opening.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, that was what was open for that opening.
Yeah.
And honestly, I was like, it's completely different. It's not cold. Actually, it gets pretty cold here. I don't know if people know that, but it gets cold here.
Yeah, it does.
It's super cold. But we just don't have snow in our backyard all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what was open.
Got it. And did you go to college for finance, or did you?
No.
Yeah.
No, I went to college for pre-law.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So what happened there? Where did that switch up? Like, do you just were like, that's not for me?
Yeah, I wanted to go all the way to get my JD, but like by the time I wanted to go back, I was here making decent money and then just ended up working in finance and didn't do it. Yeah, I just didn't do it. I don't know. Yeah. Sometimes I wish I would have, because I think I would have been a badass attorney.
Definitely.
Yeah. Would have put them all.
Would have
squashed them. I'd have fighter pilot them.
Right? Like, why not?
I'd have been like that. No, I'd have been relentless. But, like looking back, I'm really glad that I had that college experience, because now I dot my I's, cross my T's, and having a business, you do have to have that side of your brain working and being aware of the certain things and tracking certain things, and everything is in writing. Being careful what you say in writing. And then, in finance, of course, in business, you've got to, be good with your money and, and also have like money, what I call money manipulation, which is like, using money to make money and being careful with it, like something as simple as using a 0% credit card until it's up and then funding another one and rotating it. Like things like that, that like most people wouldn't even think of.
Know about.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, my 0% interest is up, so now let me pay 32% and lose my ass. Instead, you actually can just apply for another 0% and do a balance transfer.
Yeah. I love how looking back to, you're probably like, dang, this actually all led me to where you are now.
Yeah, it did. And then when I was done with finance, so then I got married and I stayed at home for like a wee bit. Okay. But now, I get
being a mom, how much is a wee bit?
Like a wee bit, like less than a year.
Okay. Yeah.
Like maybe a year in full after planning the wedding and having the baby and everything. But then I was like, okay. Like,
ready to get back to it.
Yeah, I want to make some money somehow or something. And I ended up, actually, long story short, ended up having my own social media business. Before social media was in PR agencies.
What year was this?
This was like 2013.
Okay, wow, yeah.
Yeah, 2014, I think, when it really kicked off. And then I stopped doing that in 2023, 2024. So I did it even for a year and a half with other clients as I was building out Bonded. But having all of that experience was great because I use it every day with my businesses now. Right?
Again, all these
everything, yeah. And it's crazy looking back because, sometimes when you're doing certain things in life and maybe you're not making what you want to make, or maybe you're not like in a position that you want to be in both financially or like in a company or something like this, right? Like you're kind of feeling like, am I in my place? You struggle and you kind of fight it, but if you just kind of roll, I don't want to say just roll with it, because you can't do that either, because then if you don't push, you're not going to find yourself where your purpose is. Right. But certain things everything happens for a reason. I used to think that was so cliche. I hated it when people said it when I was younger. I was like, shut up. Like, that's such BS. That is the cheapest thing you can say. But it's absolutely the truth. And it's so true. So in my social media business, I started because this was when Facebook kind of hit the market. When they hit the market, like 08, 07 or something. Like so this was 2010 when I got married. And then like 2013, I started doing it. So still people weren't using Facebook and Instagram for much marketing yet. It was kind of very still social. Mm-hmm. And I just happened to know a lot of businesses. I was a spokeswoman for somebody for 2 years. And so I knew all these businesses. And so when I stopped doing what they were doing, because it was a startup and they weren't willing to pay me more, so I just stopped. Mm-hmm. I knew all these businesses and they all needed the same thing. They all needed somebody to write a newsletter and help them market their business on social media. Mm-hmm. And none of them knew what that meant. Because I was a little bit younger than them and they were a little bit older, and this was very new and intimidating to them. Right. So I knew more than they did, only by happenstance, because I did it for this startup for 2 years prior, right? So I just went, well, this many people are telling me what they need. Why don't I just do it? And so and they didn't have like budgets for PR agencies. Now remember too, PR agencies weren't doing this then.
Right, yeah.
They weren't doing social media, and there was no social media marketing, like agencies. There weren't majors. This wasn't in college. Nobody was doing it. No one knew what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
So I could write a good email. I could write good copy, and I could do good content. I liked to present things and brand things, and was doing a way better job than they were. They didn't have much budget, so I was just taking all these little pieces of crumbs and making a piece and then making a pie. So then, I mean, I did this for almost 10 years, and I had some very big clients. Wow. And I had some very small clients, but like everybody's dollar mattered, you know? And I had come to a place kind of when I met the founders of Bonded, I had come to a place in 2022 that either I was going to go back to school to get a major in marketing, or I was going to hire somebody to do it that knew more than me, right? Like I kind of hit a place that it was like, and there were social media marketing agencies now.
Yes.
And there were PR agencies with people who knew how to do it, or maybe they were doing it. So it came to a point, either level up or just get out. And I was kind of getting tired of it. Like I'll always love it. And a matter of fact, I've been dabbling with some people now, but I kind of do it for like either nothing or trade or like a little bit of budget, just because I can really see what they could do to get their brands off or like something switched or just whatever. And I met the founders and I was like, I'm either going to get out or I'm going to level up, right? And so I met the founders of Bonded and I was like, this makes sense. Like my jewelry, my big girl job being in jewelry was like, oh, you're custom fitting and welding it on so there's no clasp. So logistically, you're fixing an issue, which is most of the time when we buy a bracelet, it's too big.
Yeah.
And then we just wear it because otherwise we have to pay to have it shortened.
Right.
And then we get it caught because it's too big. And then the clasp breaks. And then it sits in our jewelry box because, again, we have to pay to get it fixed. Right? This happens all the time. Yeah. So I was like, okay, this is actually fixes an issue. My jewelry, my big girl jewelry brain thought that. And then my events brain, which was part of marketing, right? Like you have a client, they have a launch or an anniversary party, and like you're always helping them plan it. And, you know, because again, most of these people didn't have large budgets, and those who did, I wasn't involved in any of the planning. But you would like book people like event activations, like a cigar roller or henna girl or I don't know, whatever, a champagne dress or something, right? So I was like, wow, this is an event activation. And so I was like, this is very interesting. And so I had asked them at that time if they were going to be bringing it to Vegas. And they said they really didn't know what they were going to be doing. And then it was so that was the beginning of 2022. And at the end of 2022 was when I bought a license from them. So they had started to open up licensing for territories. So in the fall of 2022 is when I bought that license for Vegas and for Monterey, California at the same time. And then I did them both at the same time.
Oh, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. Yeah, so that's kind of how like I went from being on a farm
to
doing all of these things to then having 2 studios. So it was fully mobile for 2.5 years. Had employees after the first year. Started doing not only pop-ups and private parties, but also and private parties meaning like in-home parties.
Right.
To then like private parties like weddings. To large corporate parties.
Oh, wow.
And then about year 2.5, 3, I put a studio in over here and then a studio in Carmel by the Sea, which this past weekend we actually just moved it, which I believe is going to be, it's already proving to be a better place, which is great. And then last June, I bought the brand Bonded from the founders.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Right?
Oh, my goodness.
So like full circle situation.
Yes.
Wild, huh?
Wild. What
I know.
A beautiful story.
It's crazy.
There's so many just points in that where you look back.
Yeah, and sometimes I still look back when I'm talking about it. You can probably might look on my face right now. I'm just like,
wow.
Oh yeah, I did all that, and we're going on year 5.
I
know. I know, and sometimes you have to do that.
Yes.
You have to reflect. And here's so master manifester. I pray and knock on wood that I always am. I don't think that's actually wood. I think that's metal.
Okay. I think you have luck on your side. I think you're good.
Yeah, but like master manifester, like people who know me and people who are going to listen to this be like, yeah, she is. Like so much that I have to be careful about what I say. Like even in joking.
Yeah.
like I don't in like your relationship. I was just actually leaving a message for somebody a little bit ago about your relationship with money. And if you ever say the B word, BROKE, you will always be BROKE. In your relationship with money, and this is part of like a lot of maybe the secret. I don't know if you know, right? But I also believe it's just the creating of the energy, which is a lot about what the secret is about. But manifesting things. And I believe that, yes, luck, a lot of hard work, but also following and being self-aware enough to know when you're in your 20s, 30s, and all that life is happening, how to pivot, where to pivot, when to pivot. Like, don't keep hitting your head against the wall expecting a different outcome. What is the definition of insanity? Right? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. You're going to make yourself insane.
Yes.
But being self-aware enough to be like, dude, this isn't working. Well, how do I pivot? Maybe it's a complete different career change. Maybe it's just, it could be something minute. You know, it could be the setup of this area,
right?
You know, and they going, let's change it. Like, it could be something that simple, right? It's really just being self-aware enough to know that everything isn't permanent and you should pivot, right? So like that was part of learning all of that, right? Is then you know when you get to a place, you're like, oh, the Rubik's Cube of life is locking and loading. That means you're in your purpose, right? Like when things flow, life is supposed to flow to you, right? And the abundance of life is supposed to flow to you. And that can be physical, emotional, relationship, physical, money, all of it is abundance, right? So it'll flow to you when you're in your purpose. Otherwise, whatever you believe in, the universe or God, I believe in both. He's telling you, the universe is telling you, yo, dummy, not that way. Right. You know what I mean? And like, we can't see it till it's over.
Yeah.
And we look back and we're like, oh, everything happens for a reason. And you're like, okay, they were right. Sure. Does.
That's really powerful. I feel like so many women actually have sat across from me and have used that word pivot. And I think it's important. Pivot. A lot of successful women, that's a common theme.
It's the only way.
It's like you got to figure out, and then to also know the difference between when to pivot and when to stick something out, when you know something is for you.
Correct.
But maybe you're just in a season of obstacles.
But again, you're pivoting.
But
because you're like the end goal is the same. It's just the way I'm going through isn't the way.
Right.
Like, right. So picture it mentally. Like I'm going and there's a wall and I keep wanting to hammer through it when because I believe that's the way, when in reality I just need to go around it.
Exactly.
It's still the same side of the wall, the same goal. It's just, or asking for help.
That's a big one.
Novelty concepts, right? Like
it's almost too simple.
It's so simple, right? Like get your ego out of your way, get your pride out of your way, and just ask for help. Ask for guidance. I mean, shit, just ask GPT.
We're so we can chat anything.
Hey, chat.
He's like, hey, chat, I have a question.
Yeah, let's just chat it.
What direction should I go with my career?
Exactly. Ask Claude, ask Gemini, ask whoever, ask Siri. I don't know. She doesn't know much. Don't tell her. I'm joking.
It's so funny. So when you moved here in 07, would you have expected what your life is now to be what it is today?
In a way.
Okay. Did you have entrepreneurial endeavors like when you were younger, or
I don't know. No.
Or desires?
Maybe, and I didn't know it.
Okay, subconsciously. No. Actually I didn't.
No, actually no.
Like,
but like I believe I always had that like entrepreneurial like side of my brain because I would always be trying to maybe figure out, maybe I could see things other people couldn't see, like let's say working at the bank, like why are we doing this process and system this way? It's just like that doesn't make any sense. Well, that's the way we've always done it, and you can't really argue with a bank too much, so you just but like in jobs in the world, like why are we doing it that way? It doesn't make any sense. We should, this is more profitable, or this is make more effective. And usually things that are more efficient or more profitable, especially as an entrepreneur. So no, but like I bought my first house at 18.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So like, and honestly, I've kind of always joked, and I probably should just do it. I'm probably manifesting it as we speak. Like I should have been in real estate.
Oh.
Because like that house, you know, and I did a lot of the grit myself and right beside people I knew. Didn't really pay for a lot of it to get done. And like, it was like the ceiling was falling in.
Oh, wow.
Like, it was a shit show. Yeah. Like, it was just bad. I hope I'm allowed to cuss on here.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, you're good. Let people do their thing.
I do it some days. And it's Friday.
It's fine.
And she's feeling sassy. So like, you know, that house, I just kind of did a lot of it myself. I mean, kicked in hardwood, and I mean, I paid a roofer. I hung the siding. So I don't know. So maybe it's just like, that's kind of the getting your hands dirty, grit kind of entrepreneur spirit that it takes. And so anyway, going back to that, like, I flipped that house. I mean, I lived in it for a while, but like, I flipped that house. And then there were times throughout living in Vegas that like, I remember wanting to buy a house in Boulder City before Boulder City was hot. And it was like $50,000, but like, I didn't have access to 50,000 or like access even to like apply because like, I wasn't working then.
Okay.
It was the time I was staying at home. And like, we weren't in a position to like do that. That house sold, I once checked, for like $600,000 like 5 years ago. You know what I mean? And like, it would have made an adorable house, and you would have probably dumped 150 in it. So you would have netted $400,000 if you would have sat with it for 10 years, probably renting it. It's making money too. So like, right. Or like another house situation has come up. Like, I always feel like I find these houses when I don't have the opportunity.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe I need to be looking at that now that I have a little bit of an opportunity.
Yeah.
And seeing, because I've always been able to call it when it came to real estate. And I'm like, damn, why didn't I do that?
Yeah.
Never too late.
Never too. I mean, like you said before, you can always pivot.
Never too late.
You can always try.
Never too late.
I mean, why not? So with your business, well, first I want you just to describe exactly what your business is.
Yes.
And what you offer. And
yes. And like, to answer your question about whether or not I saw myself where I am now, I have to tell you this. I definitely, when I came here, was like not a wealthy 20s. I'm wealthy in other ways, but I wasn't like wealthy. I was working paycheck to paycheck.
Financially, yeah.
Right?
You don't have financial freedom.
Correct. And I feel like I never will, and I think that's my drive. Meaning, like, never will as in, will it ever be enough? But I think that's drive.
Yeah, it is.
And there's a gray area there.
There's
and
a
you have to
gray
be
area.
careful.
Yes. Of
with
contentment, but also ambition.
Correct.
And finding a middle
Yeah.
ground.
I'm so glad you can read my mind.
I got you, girl.
Because it's Friday. So yeah, but I think that's a healthy thing, right? To always say that's certain things are enough, and you do have to be content and happy. But like, you know, you got to keep pushing. Yeah. But I always did think to myself, I want to live a certain way, be a certain way. And so I think I always kept my eye on that prize.
Yeah. And did that happen in Ohio? Was there something where did that drive come from? Was it just
I don't
there?
know. I think it was just always there.
Oh. Was anyone else here?
It probably also was just not wanting to like be a poor farmer.
Okay, yeah.
Like
the opposite effect. Yes.
The opposite of what I had. Although, and this is where things come full circle, man, retiring in Ohio, you know, like in the trees in a cabin where you're not peopling. I do like people, but people. You know what I mean? Like retiring like that, like you always come back
to it.
You know, to
in the right time.
Yeah, like to some part of your roots, even if it isn't in your roots, you know, like I would love to have a barn dominium in Texas or Idaho right now, you know, or in 10 years. Yes. So I think you always do kind of come full circle. So I think that's funny. But I always kind of had that drive. Like I didn't want my kids to wear one pair of jeans to school like I did. Yeah. You know, I always did want to make sure I could give my kids a great opportunity and exposure to things that I never had exposure to. You know, like learning multiple languages and traveling places and learning an instrument and being blessed with having their friends over and going to fancy dinners and, you know, things of that nature, because we didn't do that. Right. You know, and then, you know, you also have to be careful you don't give your kids too much.
Right. Again, that balance.
Because then you create little entitled brats.
Yeah. Exactly.
You're like, I don't think so. So like you do have to, right? And you know, I do blame us as parents sometimes in my generation. We did want to give our kids things that we didn't have, and then sometimes we produced little brats.
Backfires, yeah, a little bit.
And you're like, who are you? You know what I mean? And you're like, no, you're not getting a brand new car. I don't have a brand new car. You know, things like that. So I think you do have to be careful. So going back to answer that, and I think I always just kept my eye on that prize and thought to myself, I do want to be able to do those things,
Yeah.
whatever it takes. And I think then along the way, being self-aware and watching the pivots and obstacles and following the path, I was blessed to be able to do what I'm doing now.
Right.
You know?
And then wait, I want you to explain your business, but I have another question.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to get this one off my chest.
Yeah.
From going paycheck to paycheck to where you are now.
Which is entrepreneurial paycheck to paycheck.
Yes, I know.
Those things are just bigger in a weird way, and so are the invoices.
Yes, exactly. It's like people don't tell you this.
Yeah, you're like, one day you're rich, the next day you're the B word.
It's like, But what was that mindset shift for you? Do you remember thinking, I can do this? You know,
all faith, no fear.
That's good.
Yeah, like all faith, no fear. And to tell a little bit about when I got my license in 2022, I was, 2022, think about it, okay? My daughter was a year and a half old, so I'd had a baby during COVID at 40.
Oh my gosh.
My marriage at the time was not the way that I thought it was going to be. And it was a little rocky and a little salty. Asked me this 2 years ago, and I'd have been like, it was shitty. But I really try to be a great co-parent. I don't ever want him to ever hear this and think that. Yeah. So, but it just didn't, we weren't, and it was rough. It was a rough time. It was a rough time for everybody, and then I think when a man loses his job, it's hard for him too. Hard. And then they become a lot nastier. Yeah. So like it was a rough time, and I really needed to get out of that because I'm an Aries, and I'm very much, I don't put up with much, and I don't put up with a lot. I don't really put up with pretty much anything. I get old and grumpy now. But like I just was like, no, this isn't going to work for me, and I'm not afraid to say it. I'm on my third marriage, and I'm very happy, and I think it does come to a point when you're older that, he and I are both on our third marriages, that you do know what you want. And I think it does sometimes work out better later in those third chapters, because you're like, what you'll put up with, what you won't put up with. But anyway, in 2022, when I decided to do that, I literally actually called my parents, and my mom, God bless her, is not an entrepreneur, but my dad became one. And I had entrepreneurial conversations with him because he had come to me once with when he got his business, and I had entrepreneurially helped guide him with his, right? Oh, wow. So I had called him years later and had this conversation, and I kind of said, listen, I can take this chunk of money and I can buy 2 licenses with this new trend in jewelry. Very risky at 2022 because this was considered luxury, and everybody was looking at you like you were insane because we just came out of this crazy Baroque time of life where only the necessary jobs in life were allowed to operate, right? But come on, 2022 going into 2023, we all were like, we're over that and we're back and going. And I think we all were like, we're going to do our best to get this back and going. So I had said to my parents, like, I can take that money and get the best divorce attorney in town, which I had a great conversation with her. She was bulldog, and I was like, yeah, we'll just eat him alive. And do what? Get blood from a turnip? And the only person who wins, I'm sorry, is a divorce attorney.
No, exactly.
Sorry, not sorry, divorce attorneys. You know it. Nobody ever wins in that but them. Or I could take that money and get these businesses, get these licenses. And so I did. I took it and did that. Wow. And I literally I drained my bank account. I went all faith, no fear. This will work. Wow. I will not take anything else for an answer. Wow. And my faith, both in myself and in God and the universe, panned out. I had it all paid back in 45 days.
Wow.
Yeah, I worked my tail into the ground for nearly 2 years, to be honest, before I ever took a day off. Because my days off were figuring out the next thing, and the timing was right. In 2022, beginning of 2023, large businesses, wineries in California, places, coffee shops, salons, boutiques here were really awesome about, come do a pop-up. Remember the pop-ups?
Yes, yeah.
And it was like, come because you're going to bring something, and we're getting people out of the house again, and this is great. Yeah. And people, I think, wanted to spend money.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
some of them had weird ways of getting money back then, but we won't talk about the government. So like everybody had money and they were spending it and they were happy to be consuming and being part of the culture again.
Right.
And so, and like bigger businesses and brick and mortars were happy to support small businesses because we were all in this together. Yeah. We had just gone through everything together and now we're all in this together to make an economy again. Right? So people were saying yes to me and I was guerrilla warfaring it, like guerrilla marketing it, which is like warfare. I was like, let's go everywhere and do everything. And it was just me. So I would pop up every day that I could, every Thursday through Sunday, a boutique, a coffee shop, anywhere that would have me. And I made a great living 2.5 years going every 7 days between here and California. Why every 7 days? Because the kids would go to dad's. And I would fly out and I would stay on couches and I would borrow cars and I would rent cars and I would go to wineries where people drink and spend money. And so for 2.5 years I did this. And then about year 1, I got an employee in each state. But then year 2, I started to notice that I wasn't the only one, A, doing permanent jewelry, maybe in both areas, and B, I wasn't the only one asking to do a pop-up in these places, even if it wasn't like permanent jewelry. Yeah. Maybe it was something else. But people were seeing the success. Of course, on social media, everybody thinks it's easy. But nobody was seeing that I was eating ramen and sleeping on airport couches and other people's couches. And nobody knew any of this stuff because you never show that stuff because you talk about it now.
Right. Once you've made it.
Correct. You don't talk about it during. And if people do that and they're that authentic, I give it to them. But like in that time frame, that's not what I wanted for my brand. I wanted this brand to be seen as the industry leader, a fine jeweler who welds jewelry on people, not even part of the permanent jewelry world. Like I felt that we do, and I just still do very much feel that we do it better than anybody else. And I have my reasons why. But like, I didn't want to expose that type of thing. Right. Like, and it's just, that was for me and my grind. That was for me to be able to tell this story later, period. And there were people who knew. It isn't like I cared. And if you asked me, I would have told you, but like, it was nobody's business. I was busy building a brand.
And
and making that brand sexy. Yeah. And it's not sexy sleeping on people's couches. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, you know, that's that. But, you know, like I had seen that, you know, all these places were then coming on, you could call it coattails, or maybe they were just smart. You know, who cares? I'm a trailblazer and that's cool. And I take a compliment as it. Sometimes I didn't back then. Sometimes I get mad. Right. You know, and I'd be like, why are you letting them? Like, where's your loyalty? You learn a lot about
business.
People.
Owning a business is fun.
Yeah, you learn who's loyal and who isn't. But that's okay. So then I also saw the writing on the wall, and I'd always swore that I wouldn't have a brick and mortar because I never wanted the overhead. But I saw that if I were going to show, my next pivot was, if I was going to show that we were serious about being the industry leader in permanent jewelry, I needed to have a brick and mortar. Because now there's 2 or 3 of them in Monterey, and there's 6 or 7 of them in Vegas, and they're doing what I'm doing. Well, how do I be better than me last year?
That's good.
Also, how do I show event planners the seriousness? How do I show the world the seriousness of what I was and what we are, whatever? And that's have a brick and mortar. There's not many that have brick and mortars. There's not many that have a very fancy, fine jewelry look. You know, our look is completely different. And that's not bad. I don't care. There's always levels of things. Exactly. You know what I mean? We're just more of a luxury, you know, and our studios show that. And then and during this time I was doing more private events, largely corporate events, largely, 50 to 100 to 1,500 to 5, like just hundreds of people that we were doing this. And I was building a team at the same time. And so, that all of that is just pivots up,
Exactly.
Pivots up and taking yourself more seriously so that everybody else can take you more seriously. Right. Which then again is just bigger paycheck, bigger invoices, bigger paychecks. Yeah. You know what I mean? But first off, I never regret a thing, and I never will regret that. And I think that was exactly what I needed to do. Yeah. Because I do see that it did show people brand reputation. Yeah. And in our studios, you can come in and have a party up to 25 people. you know, so it's your birthday and you come and you do permanent jewelry or you do a hat, you know. I'm sure you haven't even talked about the hats.
I know. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. I like the journey.
Yeah. So it's crazy. It's been a crazy journey.
So you started with the jewelry, actually.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the hats came.
The hats came. Yeah. So what happened is bonded jewelry, and the founders love them still to this day, always will. Christy and Rachel, best friends. You know, they created bonded jewelry because they wanted something they could do with their best friends that wasn't tattoos or piercings.
Okay.
And still has that like solidarity or like, you know, that commitment.
Right.
And so hence bonded jewelry was born. They come out of a little town outside of Salt Lake City, and there is also a brand called Gigi Pip, which is hats. That is a very popular brand that most people do know. Fashion hats, and, you know, then they ended up with some Western hats, but just very much the fashion world. And Ginger Parrish is from the exact same place that Christy and Rachel are from. Well, as a hat person, I had Gigi Pip's hats. I had like 10 at that time. This was like 2023, 2022. Again, I had started November 2022 into, you know, 2023 was like 2 months later, right? So I had already had their hats, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool to make hat chains? And then it slides off and it becomes a long necklace. So it's like a twofer, right? So I started doing that at pop-ups and kind of advertising it a little bit and doing it and wearing it and everything. And it had kind of taken off and kind of didn't. And then I said, well, let me reach out to Gigi Pip and see if we could do some road shows together. So they have this beautiful trailer, and they come and they pop up and they sell hats. And so I reached out to him and I said, hey, if I could book you at wineries down the California coast and a couple of places in Vegas, could I then pop up next to you? And for me, that was brand reputation. For them, that was like, yeah, why would we not? So we did that successfully for just under 2 years. We did everything from Napa to Carmel a couple of times, Monterey, down to San Luis Obispo and Vegas. We'd done a couple of Four Seasons. We have a great relationship with the Four Seasons. And we did a couple of stations, casinos. Oh, wow. And it was a lot of fun, you know, and worked out very well. And then, so when I got my studios, I said, well, and at the exact same time that I was getting my studios, they were kind of adjusting their team and they were adjusting their business model, and they were going a lot more into like corporate events. And as was I, because that is the biggest paycheck. So I was really focusing on that, and so were they. So we kind of parted ways very like amicably. And say that 10 times fast on a Friday. And so we just kind of parted ways, and I said, well, why don't I just wholesale your hats in my studios? Because like people know me for jewelry and hats now, and like I love a hat, and what better accessory than jewelry and hats? And honestly, it lasted like less than 2 months, because event planners here were like, we heard you have a hat bar. And I was like, sure do. I literally was on a call, pulled over after the call and made a one sheet. And I was like, I have a hat bar. And then I was like, now I have to source hats. And I was like, I'm not doing it with Gigi Pip because the ROI with the wholesale wasn't there for me. Profitability wasn't there, especially in large numbers. So I said, well, why the hell would I want to pitch her name anyway? Why wouldn't I just pitch my own name? So that's when I decided to private label my own hats, which this is one of them. It's got my label on the inside, and we've got new ones that have like the label even right here. So just think like Stetson, you know, but then we do like flat brims too. We can actually technically get any hat. It doesn't matter. But right now I'm very focused on the Western and the flat brim because those are the most popular. And because I grew up Western, you know, and it is just a very big, cowboy couture is a very big deal right now. That theme is huge, you know, and an ex-barrel racer growing up, I mean, I have more right to have a hat brand than anybody else. Amen. You know what I mean? Like, if anybody.
Do you want to continue to expand, like boots or?
Well, it's funny you say that. I just met somebody yesterday who's doing boots, and I was like, I don't think I want to do boots. I think that if I were going to expand the brand, it would be just putting multiple locations.
Got it.
Because now being the owner of Bonded, the brand, not just Bonded Las Vegas and Bonded Carmel by the Sea, it's my job to continue to grow us, you know. So, you know, Charlotte and Chicago's together. We're looking at something in South Carolina. We're looking at something in Indianapolis. I'm personally looking at opening up something in Salt Lake City and trying to find an employee. You know, I want to open up Aspen and Nashville.
I was gonna say Nashville.
Yeah, I'm highly seeking people
Texas?
that have hat bars already
Yeah.
so that they could put bonded in. I'm looking at people that have boutiques to put bonded in.
Smart.
And, you know, I've been approached about, would you franchise out Hamilton hats? You know, I definitely will wholesale them, and maybe that's all I do.
Yeah.
I don't know that I want to like go into it completely like that, into a license situation, but also why not?
Right. Now, is the dream eventually to sell or to stay to keep?
I don't know.
Okay.
You know, I don't know at this point. I think that the idea is to build it to the point that I could sell it. And then maybe I do, and maybe I don't. Right. You know what I mean? Also, at the same time that I'm building it to sell, I'm building it with a team to not sell it.
Right.
Right? Maybe it's that I'm only doing 1 or 2 jobs and not all the jobs. Not all the jobs, because I do have bonders and I have salespeople, and I don't want to take that from them because I can't do this without them. Yeah. But like, you know, the marketing and all the
a
little more hands off. Thank you. Yeah, a little more hands off, and maybe a little more just, you know, consulting about how the brand should be ran. You know, overseer, and that could still be even when I sell it, because a lot of people will sell their brand and then come on and be a paid consultant. Right. You know, so any of those things are possible. But I do want to get it to that point. Maybe I do, and maybe I don't, you know. Yeah, you're just going to... I'm going to see what happens. And see what presents itself. Because, you know, somebody comes by with the right number. Yeah, like, okay. You know, hey. And then real estate now.
Yeah, I mean, freaking why not? Take on a whole nother world.
Yeah.
You've done all the other ones.
Yeah, exactly. Why not? Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I think that that's probably, you know, will present itself over the next 5 or 10 years. Yeah. You know, and people ask me, they're like, do you think that permanent jewelry will go anywhere? And I say, well, first off, we're bonded jewelry, not bonded permanent jewelry. I mean, we're trying to get away from the word permanent because nothing's permanent. Right. Nothing's permanent, people. It's so frustrating to have to explain that. But it's essentially is a piece of custom fitted claspless jewelry that is bonded together. It's not something that is permanent. You know, like even a piercing isn't permanent. My tattoos aren't permanent. Like nothing is permanent. So it's kind of a weird thing, but we are in that industry. So it's weird how we still have to use that as a hashtag. And you know what I mean? But like bonded jewelry is definitely like where I'm going with it, especially since we are more of a fine jewelry brand because we source from wholesalers and warehouses that are fine jewelry. We don't source from permanent jewelry wholesalers. We don't source from Amazon or Etsy. And I think that it is one of my biggest goals to explain the difference between it. You know, a lot of times people will go, oh my God, your sterling bracelet is $95. I can get it for $55. Yeah, you can get that at the farmer's market for $55. Number one, that lady has no overhead. Number two, is she properly trained to weld with a real jewelry machine and argon and the whole thing?
You get what you pay for.
Or is she zapping it with a $250 machine from Amazon? And did she get her chain on Amazon? You don't know. But like, you know, like if I were to take you right now and we were going to go to like, let's say even K's. You know, you would know what kind of bracelet you were getting. Right. Where if we walked up to a jewelry station at the flea market, we're not gonna know. Yeah. And unless we bring a tester, we're not gonna know. Yeah. And so I kind of find that funny, and especially in the events world, because I know that I get outbid, underbid. Yeah. I don't always do because I've made a good living off of it. But I know a lot of times I get underbid, and I go, well, don't call me when they turn out to not have insurance to get on property.
You get what you pay for.
Yeah, and people have done it. People have called me and been like, they're not showing up. They just canceled on us. Oh my God, it's a week out and they don't have insurance. Can you save the show? And it's just like, I don't know how to make it any more clear than right now saying it out loud.
Yeah, you got to know your worth as a business owner.
Yeah, like it's so crazy.
But when you're strong-willed like you, I feel like you kind of had that in the
back. Well, that and like then the right client finds me. Right. And they respect what I do.
You don't want the cheap clients.
I don't want the cheap
anyway.
clients. And I try to tell people that all the time, especially licensees who have problem with that and that are learning that. Like, I get wanting to say yes to everybody. I get wanting to make, even double, which that's not what we do in retail, folks. Nobody does. But you're just going to end up with a client who is like, it doesn't fit right. Why is it scratched?
Yeah. I swear, it's always the lower end clients too. It's usually not the bougie ones. It's crazy how it's backwards.
It's so insane.
It's backwards. And again, that's something that you don't know until you walk through it.
Yeah.
And you're like,
and then you really do have to laugh at people who are like, why is it scratched? It's a metal. It's a chain. Like, every piece of mine this Cartier is scratched. Yeah. Like, that's just, do you know nothing about jewelry? You literally thought it was going to stay that way forever. I bet you think your car's going to never get a ding too.
Right.
Or dirty.
I like that mindset. Oh my goodness.
I explain it like this, and I think this helps people. Couple things. When I buy a brand new pair of jeans, let's say a deep indigo pair of jeans, and I wash them and I wear them, they fade. They distress. So does your chain. I can't prevent that.
Right.
There's no prevention. And no, I'm not going to give you a free one after 6 months. People ask for that. Are you insane? I take your jeans back to Madewell or Hudson or somewhere that's $200 and ask them for new ones because you spilt spaghetti sauce and you can't get it out. I'm like, and then on the other side of it, I buy you a pair of diamond earrings at K's. You lose one. I can't go back to K's and demand they give me my money back.
Right.
People do that to me. And I'm just like, what is wrong with you? Like,
oh, the joy of clients.
So we just send them our terms and conditions and we move on. And we're like, you had 48 hours. Within 48 hours, even after testing it before it left, we will know if it's our problem and we will fix it. Otherwise, I have no idea what you did.
Right.
You could have your dog could have caught it.
Yeah.
It's not indestructible.
Exactly.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Like, no one's ever had to have their Rolex work done. Oh my God.
Come on, people. Oh, sorry. My goodness.
That was my rant for the day.
I love it. Well, we are going to wrap up, but before we do, it's been so great getting to know you and your journey. You dropped a lot of good nuggets of wisdom.
You're
so
wonderful.
Nice getting to know you.
Thank you for having me.
Before we leave, though, well, two things.
Yeah.
One, when you leave this earth, what do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for pushing somebody to do something they didn't think they could do. You know what I mean? Like, really inspiring them. Yeah, like, that's kind of like the cheap way of saying it, inspiring somebody. But, like, I really want somebody to be like, because I knew what Mindy's story was, I also did some crazy stuff. And it worked out.
Heck
yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just be an example.
I want to be somebody's role model because I don't know that I ever really had any.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
And, like, not to be afraid of things.
Yeah.
Like, things like that. Like I was talking about earlier, like taking the leap.
Faith.
All faith, no fear.
Faith, no fear. Yes.
Yeah, because if we have fear, we create fear, and then we create negativity against what we're trying to do.
Right.
You know, it's just like having the law of attraction with money.
Yeah. That's so good.
You make it and it leaves, and be grateful that it left. Right. Because that means you paid a bill.
Yep. Exactly. There's a blessing in there somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Money is just transactions.
Yeah, it's just energy.
Yeah, it's just energy.
And where can people find you?
Two doors over.
Yes, there.
If you guys don't know, we're actually 2 doors over. So our websites. Okay. So Hamilton Hat Lounge.
Awesome.
Right? Or Hamilton Hats, actually. So Hamilton Hats is our website. And Bonded Las Vegas are the ones for here. And then we've got Bonded Carmel by the Sea with bonded bracelets, and like maybe wanting to become a bonded boss would be bonded bracelets. You know, and I'm sure you're going to tag me.
Yes, of course.
So yeah, all the same things on Instagram.
Amazing.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Well, thank you again so much.
No,
Mindy,
thank you.
for sharing your
it was
story.
a lot of fun. Thank you for coming out in the heat with that belly, babe.
Of course.
I know.
Anytime.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
All right. Bye, love.
Bye, honey.